Live. So thanks everyone for joining us. It's a great topic, this one, on harmonizing feminine flow with masculine focus. And this is kind of like the holy grail of definitely of inner union, of this relationship between these two parts of ourselves that can cause quite a lot of havoc in our life if, one, we're not aware that we have both a feminine and a masculine counterpart, and then two, how we actually work with these different energies in our lives. And I think for me, the biggest growth point and journey with really working between this balance between masculine and feminine has showed up very apparently in work. And oh my God, like I remember where I came from as a marine ecologist. I was working 16-hour days, burnout, actually gave myself a heart condition that I ended up having an operation for, didn't listen to that. And then did the same thing, worked ridiculous hours, and got repetitive strain injury, and was kind of like on and off work on workers' compensation for 4 years. And at that stage, I was introduced to Tantra and started working with you, Raven, of really looking at this part of how much actually I was pushing away, squashing, judging my feminine, and completely prioritizing my masculine's drive for purpose, for service, for getting shit done. And I could see it all the way back from my schooling to university to the workplace, where I was validated and kind of rewarded if I worked really, really hard. And yeah, there's been a fair bit of suffering with my feminine because of that. And then the impact on relationships is the second biggest thing. Again, I feel like a lot of female-bodied human beings have had to kind of shift into this masculine framework, especially because as women, there weren't the same rights as men. But that transition to having the same rights as men and having a vote and being able to enter the workforce has come at a cost, because I don't think that there's a lot of awareness around this masculine feminine balance. So yeah, that's probably a good place to start.
So the first thing I would bring in is I feel like the masculine gets such a bad rap because there's an association of masculine energy being just the action oriented masculine that is out in the world doing and striving for money and status, basically. And that is, which is the stillness, which is the silence, which is the capacity to go beyond the stories that are creating triggers in the body so that we can actually feel the deeper sense of contraction that shows up within us. So first of all, I really want to dissolve that illusion. And, there's a lot of hype that I see with coaches talking about, leading from the feminine in relationship, in business, and, connecting the masculine to that working hard, push energy. That is masculine energy when it doesn't have divine masculine working with it, when it doesn't have feminine energy working with it. That is masculine energy on steroids. So can we all just please appreciate that the masculine is actually so beautiful. It's the still point. It's the ability to be fully present, to witness without judgment, to create safety for ourselves. And it's this action-oriented space. And the reason the word I chose for masculine was focus because I feel like this encapsulates the divine masculine as well as the more embodied masculine. It combines action with presence, because masculine focus if we're working, it's not working hard, it's working with purpose, right? And then we have the feminine. So let's just first of all go into these different energies. So the feminine is the feeling part of us. She's the intuitive part of us, the playful part of us, the mysterious part of us, the very creative part of us. And she's really this loving energy that extends from feelings, yeah, and intuitive flow. So let's just feel for a moment, if everyone closes their eyes, just feeling how active your own feminine energy is. And receptivity is part of this, trust and surrender. So bringing a hand on your heart and on your belly, which are two strong centers in the body of where our feminine energy resides. Just feeling how connected you are to your feelings, to your heart, to love, to compassion, to playfulness, to fierceness, to everything, to the mysterious feminine terrain of unpredictable, untamable aliveness. Now, as you're feeling this energy, and our feminine contracts and expands to be able to labor and birth. And that contraction and expansion is such a huge part of our feminine feeling body. Now, without a silent mind, you can open your eyes now, without presence, all of that feeling, contraction, expansion is going to put you into a unregulated nervous system reaction to a lot of what's happening around you. You're going to go into fight, you're going to go into flight, you're going to have stories running in your head. And just like masculine energy without feminine energy can be very dry, and just like masculine energy without divine masculine can create burnout, feminine energy without action can create chaos. Without the ability to be productive, to be focused, causes overwhelm. And without the still point and without the presence, there's just so much contraction and expansion in the body that we're not even really able to bring our awareness to. So in terms of business, for example, any entrepreneurs listening know that whenever there's something big happening in the business, particularly a launch, there is a lot to do. And if you're polarized in your action-oriented masculine, it's going to feel urgent, it's going to feel stressful, it's going to be geared towards numbers, it's going to be geared not in an energetic way, but just in, okay, we need to do this, we need to make money, we've got to get results, right? Now, we still need some of that, but when it's dominating our business, it doesn't feel good. And then if you just are polarized very in your feminine with business, and you're trying to do everything from intuitive flow and creation, and you're feeling a lot and not bringing masculine into that feeling, you're going to be getting triggered left, right, and center. You're going to be feeling contraction and expansion in the body and just be fluctuating and manic in that rather than it being held. You're going to get easily distracted by relationship, by whatever's going on externally to you, whatever's pulling you. And you're not going to get anything done, and you're not going to be able to do the proper deep inner work. So rather than us demonizing masculine, I would just like to say that it is masculine presence, the divine masculine presence and stillness, that is the center point of this harmonization. So if you can imagine that we have feminine flow, intuition, feeling, creativity, playfulness, receptivity, sensitivity, heart connection, relationship with offerings, relationships with people on this side. And then on this side, we have stillness, we have focus, we have action, we have the right structures, we have an ability to manage our time and be productive. What's actually in the center of this infinity symbol, of this wholeness? Presence. If we're not present, if we're not in this moment, we're going to get overwhelmed by all the things we have to do. We're going to get overwhelmed by looking at this picture that's based on past and future, that has a million ideas and conditioning about what's been, that has all of this distraction of results and scenarios and risks and just so much mess. Even just as I feel into that, I'm like, far out. If I had to do that, I would not be where I am today in terms of the easeful openings and receptivity with clients and with money and with my offerings. So it's this capacity to be present that has continually shifted everything for me and still does. And, you know, my partner is the master of presence. And whenever I'm being dominated either by my masculine or feminine in business and not harmonizing those, he reminds me of that presence and still point, just like my dad did all my life, but in a different way. And I'm so, so grateful for that. So what I want to do now is just share a little bit about what that looks like and what that means. So first of all, one thing I'm working through lately, because we're launching practitioner training again, and part of my fear around launching again is that I get so many ideas. As soon as we open the field for practitioner training, it's just with me all the time. And one thing I've learned is that I don't have to implement all of my ideas. That if I'm really fully present and I'm tuning into the idea that's coming forth, is it going to create stress to implement if I'm present in my body, or can it be easeful? If a task comes and I'm present with that I know that I need to do, then there's no thinking about it or planning for it. There's a doing that's arising from this present moment, which is actualizing by being in right relationship. So the feminine is in relationship with everything she's doing, right? And the masculine is providing the stillness or the action that she needs. So I remember when we first launched practitioner training, there was so much in me that I was in relationship with the training, and it was calling me and saying, I need to be launched. I need to be in the world. It was so long, such a long time from the creation process to it actually launching. And I said to Tara, like, this needs to launch now. And if it's not through us launching it, I need other help with it, because every creative idea that you have, it has an expiry date. And as soon as you have it, it is out in the ethers. And if you're not taking action on it, someone else does. And part of my process has been to be okay with that. Right? It's like, okay, this one just feels like too much. And I used to implement all my ideas, poor Tara, who would be helping in that process. And now I implement maybe 50% of my ideas. So where has that ability come from? First of all, to be discerning with what I'm implementing. And second of all, that when I'm implementing, there is this harmonization so that I can stay fully present and not be stressed. It is in this place of always being in relationship with my clients, with my soul client, always being in relationship to my Dharma, to my service. And then it's just one task at a time. You know, it's like bringing your full presence and focus to what you're doing now, instead of thinking about all the things that you've got to do. Every single client of mine, I'm supporting with business and relationship. And the key to all of the support I'm giving them is, I don't want to hear about all of the things that you've got to do. I don't want to hear about all of the things that you've had to do. If we get present right now, what's most alive? What feels like the priority? Does business even feel like a priority, or is all the joy zapped out of it and you need to step back and give it over to someone else. This isn't your job. You know, if you're doing a job and it's bringing a lot of money, if you're sacrificing your soul for that, it is not fucking worth it. You need to invest in your dharma, in your happiness, in your health, not in things that aren't resonating with you. So, you know, I actually let go of the practitioner training 6 months ago when our certifying bodies said to us, we need to change things that I wasn't willing to change. And then in letting go of that, letting go of attachment to that, I had an internal process. And then a few months later, surprise, surprise, this new inspiration came in. And myself and Tara and Erin, we came to a place of being able to bring the practitioner training in with the changes in a way that felt aligned for us. So you've also got to be willing to honor the feminine. And if something is not in your joy, if something is not resonating, if something is not inspiring you, don't do it. Now, some people get really confused about this because I'll drop a client in, and whether it's about relationship or business, when they're feeling a lot of contraction around something, they're going, no, it's not in my joy, right? And then I'm like, let's go into the contraction and feel that. And then once they free the contraction through breath, sound, and movement, once they look at the underlying fears that are happening and they can come out the other side in a more expanded state, sometimes they still don't want to do whatever the thing is or continue with the relationship. But most of the time, they were just in a flight response, wanting to run away from something that was creating triggers in them. And what I notice is that as soon as relationship issues come up, or contraction and expansion is really alive in the body and contraction is really strong, then we can feel that as pressure. Maybe our partner is needing something different from us that is going to mean that we need to change, right? Or that we need to put some work into this. Maybe a launch is creating pressure in a business. Now, that pressure can be felt as overwhelming, or it can be felt as good pressure. Because if you don't have the pressure to evolve your business and your relationship through your offerings and through whatever challenges are coming up in the relationship, then what is actually bringing about change? We don't want to have a regulated nervous system all of the fucking time. You know, it's kind of like you're a diamond, and the pressure, there's always a diamond when people make diamonds. The diamond is already there, but they're applying pressure to the diamond. That's what creates it, to get the beautiful shape. So it's not about having too much pressure. It's not about creating too much pressure with too many offerings and too many things to do. It's about feeling the pressure, right? That is pushing you in your relationship and in your business to evolve and move forward. And every time your partner is asking for something in you to change, every time your business is asking you to step up and do a launch, anytime you're forced in a way to move forward with something, right? There is going to be contraction in your body. Otherwise, you're not birthing anything, and it's not fucking worth it. So whatever you're birthing in your relationship, individually or as a couple, whatever you're birthing in your business, be in relationship with that. Be in relationship with that. That is what has created my success. It's not strategy. Strategy is like 20% of it. And yes, we need strategy, right? And if you're shit with strategy, hire someone who's good at it, or get some help with someone who's good at it. It's not rocket science. It's like, get your message out to as many people as possible, right? Through the masculine strategy of having the right systems in place, to have emails, podcast, social media, ads if you want to do ads. That's, you know, everyone knows, and funnels. Everyone knows those basic strategies. And why do people find it so hard? Because instead of actually working with the pressure to implement all of that and to feel the propelling forward and to feel the invitation to move through contraction and expansion and to stay in relationship with whatever it is that you are bringing forward in your business, right? Instead of feeling all of that, there's just all of this pressure and overwhelm. And we're either polarized in the feminine of feeling overwhelmed by that, or polarized in the masculine of just going nonstop from a fight or flight space. Everyone take a deep breath. So these strategies that everyone who's an entrepreneur feels, of ads, social media, emails, landing pages, all that stuff. What if you just saw that as a masculine structure for which your feminine can flow in, and your masculine can hold space for her to flow in? What if every call you get on, what if every post you write, what if every email you write, what if every creation you have in your business, every landing page, every time you speak and record that for social media, is not coming from the place of, oh, I've got to do this. It's actually coming from a place of being in relationship with how you feel, being in relationship with what you're embodying, because anyone who's in the fields of work of being an entrepreneur knows that every offering will call you to power to embody whatever it is that you're bringing to the world. And if you don't know how to say yes to that, the contraction is going to be more than the expansion, right? Of being in relationship to the clients and genuinely going, this is an offer that would have supported me at some stage in my life that wasn't available for me. This is an offer that has made such a difference to my life that I want to bring it in. And to me, I'm fantastic at selling, but that's not because of all of the marketing strategies that I know. It's because any time that I'm bringing something, I am fully in relationship with it. When I create a landing page, I'm feeling into the listeners. I'm feeling into where I would have been. Like, I just created a masterclass that's going to support funneling people into the practitioner training. Now, yes, that's a great strategy, but I don't get motivated by strategy at fucking all. So, okay, the strategy's there. My logical brain knows I need to align with that strategy. And I have resistance every time to new strategies, which also Tara knows. And thank you for your patience, Tara. I always get there in the end. But the inspiration has to come from here. So it's like, okay, Tara might mention it'd be good to do a masterclass. I'm probably resistant to her straight away at first, and she's loving and patient with me. And then I'm considering the possibility. And then, boom, when I'm meditating, when I'm under the red light, when I'm out in nature, when I'm in a space of deep presence, of receiving in whatever's happening in my environment, in my senses, an idea will come. Mm-hmm. And then I simply connect to that soul client, to what I would have needed before I was to do a practitioner training. Okay, so what are the keys here of being a Tantra practitioner training? And then it's all just flowing out. And I just genuinely want to share that with people, whether they sign up for practitioner training or not. So I'm in right relationship with that masterclass. I'm also in right relationship with the practitioner training, because whoever's going to be in that masterclass that is our soul client, that does genuinely want to transform to the highest level they can and serve others in the same way. So it ripples out into an evolutionary beacon of change on the planet. If I'm not connected to that, what is the fucking point? If all you care about is strategy and meeting all of the requirements and how you're going to appear when you share this, and it's not fucking about you. And when the contraction expansion is coming up in relationship, I would say that's not about you either. It's about the we. It's about being in relationship with your partner, hearing their truth, feeling them, feeling yourself. And it doesn't mean that all of the pressure that comes up in your business and your relationship means that you have to work through it in a way that you change. Sometimes I just need to create a boundary and say in my relationship, hey, I don't want to talk about this anymore. I'm not going to move on this. This is what I need. Or, I'm sorry, I can't give you what you need if I know I can't give that. And then the same in business. And where I really am in business now is that I only want communication with other people if it feels inspiring, if it feels easeful, if it feels deep, really, right? And same requirement for relationship. So when we're feeling into our own individual needs, you also need to create an environment from honoring your feminine that feels nurturing, that, and of course, it's not going to be all rainbows and unicorns all the time and fun, easeful, and of depth. But that's what you want to be, the most consistent factors that are carrying the relationship with all relationships with the people that you have, including your clients, including your partner. So what are you bringing? And I will tell you right now, there are so many people, the reason they want to work with me is because they've seen the evolution of my success over the past 17 years since I've been in the public eye. And they've seen how my teachings change. They see how my life just gets better and better. And they're like, I want to know your secrets. And I'll tell you what my biggest secret is to my ongoing success and my capacity to hold a lot of tasks, as well as 2 children, with mostly not getting stressed and overwhelmed. It is definitely the capacity to be fully present and call myself into that presence when I need to. But secondly, making everything about my own internal state of the relationship I'm having with whatever is causing contraction in my body. So this is the 3rd time we've launched practitioner training. Who would have thought that there's still so much stuff there, right? And every day I'm going into it. As I mentioned earlier, the fear of taking too much on again and having the buzz of all of the soul clients constantly with me. That's a big one, and I'm working through that right now. Another one is like, what if I am committing too much again? I've already got my next 2 months so full with what I know I need to do for this practitioner training, energetically, from a place of embodiment, and physically. And I'm really working with that energy. And actually, when I'm in relationship with that and feeling that, what I always come to when I just allow the fear and the adrenaline to move in my body is, this is okay. This is easeful. One thing at a time, which is why I'm bringing that to you. And that's what I do. Whatever my internal process is, I'm then bringing it. So it's you that people want. It's you that your partner wants. It's not anything that you can get outside of you. It's not the next technique you're learning, any of that. My practitioner training, what it does is support you to feel into the client and let it come from them what they're needing, because this is where the jewels are. So right now, just close your eyes for a moment, and I want you to feel into any kind of pressure you're feeling in your relationship or in your business to move forward. Now, without the harmonization of masculine and feminine, you're going to feel this as either overwhelming, or you're going to feel a sense of urgency and stress at how much you've got to do, or what you've got to do to change or move forward in your business or relationship. So I just want you to let all of that go for a moment and breathe deeply into the body. It's okay. You're safe. You're safe. You're exactly where you're meant to be. And put your hands on your heart and your belly again. And the first thing you need to do with anything, the relationship or the business, is choose this. If you're trying to change, if you're trying to get stuff done in your business, that doesn't work. Fully choose it. If you can, if it's not inspiring you, if it doesn't feel aligned with your soul, don't fucking choose the relationship or the launch or whatever, or the new idea. But you've got to choose it. And that's that masculine. Put your sword in the ground and fucking choose this. Breathe into that. And now feel with your heart a relationship to whatever it is that you're moving forward with that's difficult. Maybe in your relationship, your partner's asking you to be softer. Can you come into relationship with softness? Maybe your business is asking you to be more present. Can you come into relationship with presence? So if you're choosing it, what do you need to really come into relationship with? If you're choosing it, can you right now bring your masculine awareness into relationship with your breath, with your life force? Feel the contraction and expansion around whatever it is that is asking for you to change or move forward with something. And I'd love to take you all through a process of working through that contraction expansion, but it doesn't feel like the right space in Alive. But maybe just consider going there. Consider going to the fears that are coming up. Consider taking your focus away from the external and into the internal, which is the fundamental principle of Tantra. Consider that if you're doing that with all of the fears that come up, you're going to be so much more effective. Just become aware now. And just get really present with whatever it is that needs to move forward and relax into it. I'm prepared for the inner work. I'm prepared for the pressure. Pressure can be good if I'm allowing it to move me forward. So feel your masculine awareness and stillness, holding whatever's alive and being willing to stay present with the action that needs to take place in order for you to move forward, to do your process, and to stay connected and in right relationship with your partner, with your children, with your loved ones, with your projects, with whatever you're launching, and with your business. And that's how you harmonize masculine focus with feminine flow, is by allowing that flow of creative inspiration, being in and allowing contraction and expansion, so that what comes forth is the uniqueness of you into a structure that allows you to bring your unique soul into the world and to your loved ones and radiate your beingness, your presence, your love. Taking in a deep breath, exhaling with a bit of sound, opening your eyes when you're ready.
Amazing. Yeah, I find that this both the overwhelm and then flicking to the like stress, doing is so much linked to this concept of time, that there's not enough time. And sometimes in my own life, like if I know, okay, I've got this window to get this period of work done, but I have like a holiday that I have planned, and like for me personally, an immersion that I have planned, and what this whole concept of time, the mind can very convincingly go, yeah, so there's not enough time. But then I find that that's a pattern and a story that just perpetuates and is like
Well, yes and no, because there's also masculine logic that's like, okay, we need to get this amount done. And what most people do is they're either completely in the doing or completely in the play and the time off. Whereas when you're harmonizing these energies, they're together and you're present with that. And like, to me, if there's something big happening, like we're doing a launch, I wouldn't be going on a holiday. I wouldn't be planning an immersion. Like, I've stopped everything, right? And so that's creating enough spaciousness so that stress isn't there. So sometimes the contraction in our body is there for a reason as well, not just for not just for the inner evolution of expanding and feeling better, but for making serious changes to the way that you do things. And when masculine and feminine are really harmonized, then what happens through that is natural consistency. And most people are not consistent. And the reason why pressure feels bad and not good is because there's waiting until we have to do something before we actually do it. And, you know, there's the good pressure of like, okay, the launch is coming and it propels you forward. But there's also an attunement to that a year, 6 months, 1 month before, depending on the offering. So to me, like, yeah, there's 3 immersions that I could have done over the next 2 months that I've given to other people because I know that my focus needs to be on the training. So I would also say to that for you and for others, be discerning, like tune in to the overall picture of what's happening. Use your awareness to go beyond immediate gratification or impulse or, you know, whatever's going on, and just go, okay, when I take everything into account, what's going to create the most ease for my nervous system? And that's self-love in business. And I had to really learn that one. I used to take way too much on, and even did this year, like planning an immersion straight after Living Tantra retreat. That was ridiculous. So you learn from that. And yeah, there's certain beautiful jewels that come from consistency and time management and time prioritization that I could never begin to explain to you, to all of those listening. You just have to try it. But whatever you're working on moving forward within your life, changing in your life, implementing in business and in relationship, is only going to happen with the consistency of dedicating set time every single day. Every single day. There has not been a day that, even when I'm on holidays, even when I'm supposedly having time off, that there is not at least 1 hour of my day dedicated to my service in the world. And that is not because of pressure I'm putting on myself. It is a natural result of feeling the importance of that for me to always be in my ease and in right relationship with my audience, my soul clients, and my team, essentially.
Yeah, and then the other bit that comes up for me is also around commitment. So, for example, with an immersion, like planned 3 months before, you know, everything booked, accommodation books, flights booked, then yeah, just keeping commitments there. And then also in relationship, like, you know, with a partner to say, yep, we're going to do this holiday, and then for it to finally be there and then go.
You be totally honest. Do you know, I remember this really, really clearly. There wasn't flights booked, but I had a client booked in a few years ago, a couple for an immersion. And I'd been working with them both privately. And I sent them a message and said, you know what? I've overextended myself again. I knew that it was school holidays. I knew this. I knew that. I didn't feel into it properly. I am so sorry. But if I don't prioritize my child right now and prioritize myself and my need to spend quality time with him, I can't do this immersion with the full integrity and truth of my being. And they were just like, oh my God, you just taught us so much. Like, they both come from conditioning of like keeping your commitments no matter what. Now, if I didn't learn from that, and I'm just one of those people who always is like, oh, sorry, I've just realized it's not in flow now. Like, for fuck's sake, is all I can say to people who do that all the time. But I'm not someone who breaks commitments easily. And anyone who knows me knows that I don't, including these clients. So there's this balance of, we have to learn from our mistakes sometimes. And can we just be honest that we made a mistake? And I was completely transparent. I'm like, I fucked up. I overcommitted here. And then you actually choose not to do that again. And in your relationships. And, you know, it's, if your partner, if your friends can't understand when you break a commitment, if it is coming from that authentic place, then are they really loving you? If you can't be honest and authentic, again, in saying that, if you're someone who's always breaking commitments and disappointing your friends and disappointing people in your business team, you're going to lose their trust, right? So it's a balance. And when you're saying yes to something, it's like not just saying yes from the feminine and not just saying yes from the masculine. This is what I've learned. Like, oh my God, I've had this lesson hammered into me. And, if you ask me to do something, Tara, and I'm in my masculine, I'm like, yes, I can do that. And then I might be in the sauna, my feminine kicks in. I'm like, no, I fucking can't. Like, I'm already managing this, and this. And then I can be authentic in that with you, but 95% of the time I don't commit to things and break it, right? So you can probably be compassionate. But imagine if I did that all the time. Said yes from my masculine, then my feminine kicks in and I can't do it. Or imagine if I'm just answering from my feminine, I'd probably say no to every business thing that you gave me. I'm like, no, I don't know where I'm going to be. I don't know what flow I'm going to have. And I'm definitely more compassionate to people who overcommit than the ones who are like, who undercommit and can't commit to anything, because that's my patterning. So it's also about watching where your triggers are and being able to resolve that with people. So yeah, that's the long answer. The short answer is any commitment you can break if it's important enough to you and what is priority for you at that time. So if your priority is relationship, right, which it was in that situation I gave, make that your fucking priority. Don't be ashamed of it. Be honest in that. Say sorry and mean it, and fucking learn from your mistake, because people will take sorry only so many times, and the universe will take sorry only so many times, right? And then it's the same. It's like if the priority is service, there's every single relationship I've ever had, I've had to make very clear at different times, right now, this is really important to me. This is an important moment in time. And this is where my energy needs to be. And I still want time with you, but just so you know, my priority in terms of what I'm relating to from about 8 till 6, Tuesday to Thursday, is going to be this. And even on my time off, this is happening. So letting your partner know with transparency, not getting, like, even the other day, not getting swept up either in what other people are on. Like the other day, it was Rose's birthday yesterday, and I had a full day today. I had a full day yesterday, and Tees was like, oh, I feel like it's really important. And we went to see her Sunday, and I'm like, that's enough. I feel like it's really important, and that we need to be there for this. It's her birthday. And I'm like, yeah, absolutely. But then when I realized how much I had on, and then like getting her gifts, making dinner, all of this, I'm like, and expressed to him that was too much for me. I might need to back out of that. And then he just kicked into gear and said, what do you need for me to take care of? And he took care of absolutely everything. So all I needed to do was get in the car. So sometimes when you express something to your partner or it's someone you love where you've committed to something, it doesn't mean you have to be a no now, but it means some adjustments need to be made. And that's that feminine energy of being flexible, of being adaptable, of things not being black or white. Even when I'm on and I'm prioritizing service, I'm also still always including that nurturing of the feminine, the nurturing of my feeling realm, the holding space for whatever's happening in here, making sure that I am still having that quality time with Jada Bentis and the people that I love. It can all happen in balance if we're not in our heads and in the stress. If we're here and we're in our bodies and we're deeply listening.
Amazing. Thank you.
You're welcome.
So we have 3 questions. The first one is how to incorporate more feminine energy in a masculine corporate environment.
I mean, can you? That's the question. It's like masculine corporate environments don't have divine masculine. It's all that pushing, striving, working hard, on your work breaks, probably. And, you know, in the space of actually feeling what that is for you and feeling, is this something you really want to be doing? Is this conducive to your happiness? What would happen if you prioritized happiness? And it can be so overwhelming to leave a job, right? But when I was in a corporate job and there was not a lot of space for my feminine because I was managing several sales teams, it's just not possible sometimes, right? And all the people I'm working with were in that strong masculine. It's this time of going, okay, if I was prioritizing my health, if I was prioritizing my happiness, if I was prioritizing my soul alignment, would I be in this job? Fuck no. And then going, wow, but do I need to leave? And I was on 150K plus bonuses, had a really good setup, and I was in a position that was enjoyable. As I'm sure you all know, I love like talking and expressing and sharing. And I was running conferences and sales teams and inspiring, and I love personal development. But I also had two little kids at home that I wanted to be spending more time with, but the workload didn't allow for that. And I was also, having to hold a lot of plates and being that more action-oriented masculine. So it was so daunting though. Like, what am I going to do if I leave? Will I be able to pay the mortgage? Will I be able to send my kids to school? What I've learned more than anything else is that when I'm trusting the true pulse of my soul, when I'm trusting the expiry date of something, instead of just, I can't give up this opportunity to make money. I was actually in a stage of climbing up the ladder and I was moving towards making way more and getting an even bigger role in the business where I'd be traveling interstate. So I'm like, okay, what's more important? Money, status, being in my comfort zone? Or is it actually going for what feels aligned more with my feminine as well as my masculine? It was around the time I started Tantra and even just discovering her and her needs. And what if I don't have any money? And I had to just go, okay, I choose this over money. I choose this over anything else. Because what's the fucking point? And I knew that I wasn't going to be destitute, right? There's people who love me. So I quit my job. And I went out on a complete limb and I just put an ad in the paper for people to work with me. And actually all of the inner processing I did to get to the point of leaving, and everything that I had to experience and feel, I believe is what magnetized in the first week after putting the ad out, 10 clients coming to me. Right. And then I've never had the need to try and get clients ever since then. Did I know that then? Of course not. Is the power of who I am deeply connected to the courage to always follow my soul that then overflows into my clients? Is that the key to my success? I'd say so. Part of the key for sure. So it's not always comfortable to move forward. It's not always comfortable to actually finally implement the changes that need to be implemented. It's the only way though, because resistance breeds so much suffering. And so my advice to you in harmonizing these energies is come back to that full presence. And in that presence, choose you. And in choosing you fully and your soul, know that you are choosing what's best for anyone who's been impacted by that. If you fully choose your choice and you fucking choose it and you keep moving in that direction and evolving in that direction. So I hope I haven't been too trippy and advanced in some of what I've been bringing forward. For the people who are listening, if some of what I'm saying is creating confusion, just reach out to us. You know, we have plenty of things to support you. And Soul-Centered Business, one of our 8-week online courses, is extremely helpful. So let's put that link in somewhere. Also, if you are someone who's ready to be a practitioner and claim your space in the world, and you need some masculine structure, you need skills, you need to, you need to enter a container that's held so that you can dive in and do the inner transformation that's needed and have the tools that you need to bring forth to people whatever they need, then we are going to be launching opening doors to practitioner training in November. There's going to be a special price for those on the wait list. We are going to be limiting numbers, so jump in the wait list. The link will be there.
Amazing. Do you have time for 2 more questions?
Yes.
Okay. How to support the shift from masculine burnout to leading with feminine.
You don't want to lead from feminine. You want feminine and masculine to coexist. So the second myth I want to debunk is that we need to lead from our feminine. We lead from our wholeness, right? We lead from our wholeness. We lead from deep feeling and honoring of ourselves, with taking action and holding space and being connected to our awareness and our service in the world, right? There's a coexistence. And when that coexistence is there with everything I've been talking about, you're not going to burn out, because the directive of your actions, the directive of your expression is coming from here, and it's genuine and it's present and it's focused.
Amazing. And in terms of that shift out of burnout?
That's it. It's like you're not going to burn out if you're overflowing with what's here, and you're genuine, and you're in relationship with your clients and in relationship with whatever your offering is. And then the contraction and expansion that's coming up in that, you will contract if you start doing too much. You will contract if there's stress. You've just got to actually bring that divine masculine awareness into relationship with the breath, with your body, feel into what's creating that, and change shit up. Do it differently, right? Maybe you need to delegate some tasks. Maybe you need to cancel the immersion or the trip or whatever it is. Honor that and learn from that. Learn from it. So many people are like, I'm always in burnout. Well, fucking stop being in burnout and running that story and get consistent. Consistency is the cure to burnout. Consistency with what you're bringing from your masculine, and consistency with your feminine energy, and nurturing yourself and allowing what's in here to come out. The other thing that causes burnout is overemphasis on strategy and planning. It takes you away from the soul pulse of what's really important. 20% marketing structure planning, 80% you, your soul, your relationship to your offering, to your clients, to your man, to your woman, to your children, to your friends, to life.
Oh, last question. How to balance structure and expansion?
Structure is expansion, right? So if you have a structure, like say the structure is write 10 emails and do 3 reels where you're talking about something, okay? That's the structure that you then get to flow in. So it was balanced structure with what?
Expansion.
Expansion. You're going to expand if you're fully present with that, and not in the, what do I have to say and what do I have to do? Trust yourself and you'll expand. It's like, okay, here's the structure. And with every email that you write, with every post that you do, with every time you show up in a reel or a live or whatever you're doing, every video you're showing up in, expand by connecting to your offering, by connecting to your soul client. That feels expansive. I'm excited when I'm writing an email. I'm excited when I'm writing a post. There's a pulse in me that is like flowing through, and my dharma's flowing through me, right? That's what you want. When you're allowing that flow of your soul and you believe in yourself, structure's going to feel expansive. There's nothing that expands me more than having tasks that I otherwise wouldn't have, that are creating a little bit of that pressure. And then I'm like, okay, what's this task? And then I'm feeling into my clients, I'm feeling into me. And okay, I got to write this. And I'm expanding as I'm writing it.
I love that. Wow. Thank you, darling. I think that's
Thanks
going to
for
be very helpful.
holding a good structure for my flow, as you do.
Yeah, you're welcome. Yeah, so please forward this on to anyone who's in need of some re-education of this balance in masculine and feminine, and re-education around, this concept of the masculine being the baddie, as opposed to there being an absence of more of this divine masculine that can be present in every moment of our life to what is, and unfold from there, rather than the mind, stress, and overwhelm being the predominant masculine forces in our lives. That was so valuable.
Mm.
And check out the links. Come join us for the masterclass. It's going to be amazing. We'll be launching that soon. Jump on the wait list for now, for our practitioner training. Soul Centered Business, if you really want to dive into this balance of masculine and feminine in business, it's a complete game changer. I think every entrepreneur should study that material and experience it. Thank you, Ms. Raven.
Thank you, Tara. Love you, sweetheart.
Oh, and next week we will have Raven and her beloved Matisse on the live
Mm.
schedule. So definitely check that one out.
We're going to be talking about presence.
Mm.
And yeah, he definitely outdoes me on that one. So you're gonna get some gold, receive some gold from him and from our energy.
Beautiful.
Okay,
Thanks,
bye
darling.
everyone.
Thank you, everyone. Bye.